A 3-hour-long drive takes us from Hyderabad to Challur. We drive past hills that have been reduced to rubble and majestic rocks that are mere stubs. Evidence of human greed stares you hard in the face all the way from Hyderabad to Bhongir to the temple town of Yadgirigutta. Challur is just 14 kilometers from here. In the face of the devastation of hills, it is difficult to share the driver's love for the manicured outer ring road of Hyderabad. The worst reflection of this devastation is right next to the Nandishala, where private builders are having a field day. They have already knocked down many hills and set new goals each day of erasing more hills. Entering the Dhyan Foundation Nandishala is a relief. Seeing the hundreds of weak, rescued and stray cattle being looked after by the volunteers of the foundation is almost therapeutic. There are people who know what it means to be human. And what else can reflect this humanity better than their care of the mute animals? This mother has rejected the calf. It takes a lot of doing to have it feed its baby. The volunteers think it is nothing short of a miracle that this cow could bear a child. They are doing the best they can to help both mother and child live. This one is probably in the 8th month of his pregnancy. For the last 2 weeks, it hasn't been able to get up. The Nandishala staff do their best each day to help it move and rise. She can't, and a day comes when she gives up. This calf, rescued by the police and brought to the Nandishala, collapses as it is taken out of the truck. Just half a day of special care that includes feeding bananas and greens to it sees the calf up on its feet. The next day, it is moving about normally with the others. This is not a usual sight. Nearly all of them are lazing around. The volunteers can breathe easy. But the scramble for food has to be seen and heard to be believed. Regardless of whether the grass is dry or green, the cattle are always restless for it. Of course, green grass is party time. And the best time to feed the weak and the sick is when the healthy ones are having a party. The weak ones have to be fed a special diet that includes the husk of wheat and chana, besides a protein food called pellets. Sometimes they're also given corn powder or that of barley, depending upon the weather is hot or cold. The tasks in the Nandishala are endless. The water tanks have to be cleaned and filled. The huge ground has to be cleared of dung and urine so that the food does not get contaminated. The weak and sick cases have to be segregated and kept in separate enclosures. The enclosures have to be built. And while the work is on, volunteers have to ensure that no accidents happen. A calf could fall into this pit, dug to fix a pillar. The haystacks have to be saved from catching a fire from the welding machine on a windy day. But there are compensations. Watching Chinnu live from one day to the next, for instance. Oh, it's wobbly. Poor child, it does not know where to put its mouth, not even when it is right under the mother. Is it calling out to its mother now? Chinnu's sounds are special each day. Its moods are worth catching in the camera. Every gesture means something. Chinnu is trying to nibble today. A young mother has adopted Chinnu after days of it being force-fed by its own. Chinnu is the worker's favorite. Chinnu is a story to be tracked each day. How does one help it live on borrowed milk is a question that worries every volunteer. Chinnu lives against all odds, but not too long. The struggle for survival ends after 38 days as spring comes to a close. During this time, there has been a baby boom in the Nandishala. The volunteers are now wondering how to prevent the weak cows from getting pregnant. Segregating them from the bulls is a very tall order. It requires yet another enclosure and one that does not hamper their free movement. All of them are used to an open space. Here is Bhim. The other calf is very possessive about it. How to stop Bhim being shadowed by this one? This is a buffalo calf. A worker who has taken special care of the buffalo has been told that he can take the milk after the calf has been fully fed. These big bulls were quite aggressive when they were brought to the Nandishala after being rescued from the butchers. They had to be kept tight to stop them from hurting the others. They were also fed a special diet of grains to help them recover their strength. It takes weeks before they are untied and allowed to mingle with the others. The care of the animals is the most important task in the Nandishala, also the most overwhelming. It demands daily and day-long visits by the volunteers, each of whom has their own family and livelihood to take care of. The cost of feeding the cattle alone comes to about 6 lakh rupees every month. There are no donors outside of the foundation. There is not a rupee coming from the government. But the volunteers labor on, guided by their guru Yogi Ashwini. The Guru's instruction to them to just do their best and not worry about the results keeps the volunteers going each day. The attitude also helps them keep their balance as they move between tears and triumphs every day.